We're live.
We are live. Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you? I am doing well. This is Heather Alexandra for Kotaku.com. I am joined in the booth by
Chris Person.
Chris Person, the one and only. We are playing Star Wars Battlefront 2. If you are a EA Access player right now, you can actually play it. There's a 10-hour-long trial. You have 10 hours to mess around with campaign and multiplayer. We're going to go into the campaign. We are going to restart campaign. This is my boss, Stephen Totillo's account. Sorry, Stephen.
Sorry, Stephen.
We are restarting your campaign. The campaign, it follows the Empire, which I think is interesting. Other games have done that. So TIE Fighter did it. There's an Imperial Agent campaign in Star Wars The Old Republic, although that's set like way in the past in the not real...
In ancient times.
The canon that was like wiped from existence, which is a bummer because I like all those stories.
I like some of those stories.
I'm a big
Are
extended
you
universe.
Zambong, whatever.
Oh, New Jedi Order is good, actually.
Okay.
Which I'm sure will get somebody in chat going.
Is that the Jedi Academy guys?
It's that's the series with the Vong,
Oh, cool.
who were
All right.
really powerful.
Ooh.
So you guys get to see all of this. Well, most of it. It has that really super good production design, for sure. It feels like I'm watching Star Wars.
Extraction.
Yeah.
She's special forces.
Special Forces. What's so special about Forces? So this is our main character. This is Iden Versio.
She's evil.
She's
Iden Versio.
she's pretty cool for an evil dude, gal, lady, soldier, stormtrooper. She'll cause trouble.
Commander Versio. You must be important.
Letting the scenes play out, which I
Look at
think
me.
people want to see.
So let's talk facts. That's what I'm here for. You have the activation code. I've got the ability to help you out.
Gosh, faces in games have gotten so much better. I think of the last Injustice game,
You know,
and
we could really use
jeez,
someone like you.
look at these expressions. I can see the pores on people's
Just help me
skins,
out
and it
on
messes
PO,
with
it's
me.
that easy.
In my day, they were just
I'm gonna get what I want
sprites.
eventually. My best technicians are
Playing
listening
Rebel
to your
Cop.
droid right now.
Bad cop?
Good cop,
Good cop, Sith cop?
good cop, Sith
Take on
cop.
my
Yeah,
own.
yeah, yeah.
All I want is the code.
If you have any questions, let us know.
Yeah, please let us know in the chat. I've been playing this for a while. I've been playing multiplayer too. I would be glad,
time is coming.
happy, and able to answer
You don't have
a
to go through
lot
with
of
it.
the questions that you probably have.
Yes.
For now, how's she gonna get out of this cell? What's going on?
Oh, no.
What are you doing?
That was menacing.
I know. That's why I'm like, I don't know how I feel about these
VZ.
these evil, scary folks.
I think they're evil.
There we go. So she's gonna break out of here a little bit, using some cool hacks and tricks. And now I can finally control the camera in a second.
Oh, this guy. I like this guy.
Well, this is just generic Rebel. It is not Nian Nub, the dude who also was a co-pilot with Lando in the Battle of Endor.
Yeah, his English is much better.
Yeah, he's
Or,
not.
what is it, Galactic Common?
He's not like blah 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 blah.
Sebastian Fuentes says, Chris, how did you come up with the perfect narrating voice?
The perfect narrating voice.
Very carefully.
You see, whenever I do streams with you, people always focus on you, and then I don't get the. People are usually like, "You sound okay," but when I'm next to you, no, I can't compete.
You know who can compete?
Don LaFontaine, God rest his soul.
No, the people that compete.
The people that compete.
Another vertical. I don't know. I worked a
Fair.
lot on it, and I used to sound like Ira Glass NPR kind of vibe.
Oh, very good. Oh,
the
that's
delicious,
interesting.
The delicious dish.
So now we're playing as a droid, and that droid's gonna bust us out of here.
Tony says we love you too, Heather.
Oh, well, that's good. I like you, Tony.
Love droid. This is like what was it? This kind of looks like the probe droid,
It kind of.
which was designed by Moebius.
Really?
The probe droid from the Empire was designed by Moebius. It's one of the few designs, and if you think about it, it makes sense.
There we go. This actually surprised me. I thought it was going to start off with something really bombastic, But I do like this opening that's a little bit more about guile and being sneaky.
Yeah.
Also, droids are cool, man.
Droids
Like,
kick ass.
I don't know how
Droids
much...
are better than robots. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, look at that. I don't know how much characterization this droid gets.
Also, droid, it turns out, is a copyrighted term
Oh boy.
from Lucasfilm.
I was
guess
so-
now Disney.
I was so caught up in your story that I almost got zapped by a lightning wall.
I didn't realize it was a trademarked to say droid.
No, well, I mean, now we've been
I am-
saying it a lot, and
I
now
am-
we owe Disney
Residuals.
a ton of money. Look at these hallways, man. This is so good. Like, the production design in this game is so fucking great.
I just loved 70s designed spaceships. You know,
I'm torn between whether or not I like this sort of aesthetic or the clunkier, weird techno 80s vibe from Aliens. I like them both a
they're very
lot.
similar, very padded. Everything in the spaceships was very padded.
Yeah. I do like this. There's a nice, there's a cleanliness here that I appreciate. And
I think that puffer jackets were a thing in the 80s that came back, kind of like puffer vests. I feel like
yeah, I have one. I still,
they're very useful.
I don't wear it a lot anymore. That was like a high school look for me.
But I think they're vaguely coming back on some level. But that's kind of how they also designed spaceships in the 80s. It was just a lot of puffy panels.
So here's my big thing about Battlefront. So I just published a piece about how the loot crates work in multiplayer, and part of the issue with that is that you can buy a ton of loot crates, and you can get these cards that give you like better stats and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crummy. But yet, when I play this single player, even though I'm kind of like, I don't know, let's see how we handle an Empire story. Because, again, you can tell good Empire stories. There was a comic book about an Imperial secret agent that Dark Horse ran that was also really good. I think it was just called Agent of the Empire.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, that stuff's cool. And this production design is great, and the shooting feels fun. Or like really good, because it's the same folks who know how to do stuff for like Battlefield and a bunch of other things. And so I'm super interested in this campaign, and I think the multiplayer has been enjoyable in some snippets. But the fact that it has like all of these extra weird, crummy systems in it is such a disappointment to me. Because like, look at this.
Yeah, and it feels like you can feel the invisible hand of like
Yes.
someone not the design team, like
Right, like this, like these are spaces that are crafted by like
artists.
artists.
Let's just say artists.
And like really good folk. And this is a story that like, so this story was written by Mitch Dyer and who else? Oh,
I
gosh.
like Mitchy D. We
I'm
follow each
forgetting.
other on
Yeah,
Twitter.
Mitchy D.
Yeah.
Who people might remember from his journalist
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
And doing stuff with like Greg Miller and them folks.
Yeah.
And so that's super interesting.
Here we go.
And I want to see how this plays out, but
She's got a Simon on her chest.
for all the cool production design and all the definite passion that I know went into this project,
Let's go.
it feels bad to have like loot crates and stuff stacked on top of that, because look at this. Droid goes into her back like a little backpack, and I'm gonna blast my way out of here and sneak. It's all super good. She's speaking to her buddy Hask, who
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
There we go.
when he talks, he's super Empire.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we'll destroy those rebel scum. And you're like, dude, chill a bit. All right. So there's some stealth here. It's a little clumsy than I'd like, but she has a baton. You can just like wax people, which
That
is
kicks
pretty
ass.
good. I like retractable batons.
They're very jackbooted.
Yeah.
It's like occasionally you get a piece of like cop design
Like
that
this-
like is cool.
This feels very, like it feels very Empire to have a retractable baton that just like smacks people. Her helmet's a little big old helmet, and then of
Big
course,
helmet much?
I don't think it's introduced it yet, and maybe I need a weapon to show it. But like for now, I can switch camera over my shoulders, which is always useful, and then you can do first person as well.
And remember, guys, if you have any questions or comments, let us know.
Yeah.
Join us in the chat. If you enjoyed...
Look
Wait,
at
hold on.
it. It's Admiral Akbar. So this is before the end of Return of the Jedi. They're planning the attack on the Death Star.
So this is like how they knew about Death Star 2 and like how they were walking
yeah,
into a trap.
and I think,
Okay.
I think people on this ship might have information that proves it's a trap, so you're getting...
Sebastian says, do you think they have
Out of
vapes
there.
in Star Wars? I think that's canon. There's that one guy in the cantina who's...
They absolutely do.
he has like a space hookah, which is basically a vape.
Yeah, here we go. This is some good first-person action right now.
That's a good question, actually.
I always found that the first person in these games is a little stiff.
Freyo said they could listen to you read the phone book all day.
Oh, God. Both of us.
We're the most pleasant sounding of the Kotaku people.
Like, I think this looks really dynamic when you zoom in, but I actually almost prefer
The third
the
person.
third person.
Yeah, man.
But maybe sometimes I wonder how much of that is me after playing so much third-person Battlegrounds, just being like,
Yeah.
oh, I want third person for everything, so I can
Yeah.
like corner peek people.
Yeah, and so you get those like.
Because I sure as shit can't do that here.
Uh-oh. Do you
but
throw
I
a grenade?
But I can if I do that. No,
Okay.
I don't think they did. All I have is this little scanner right now, which is useful though. You
yeah.
eventually get all sorts of different cool tools.
Sebastian also said, so as someone who only dabbles in multiplayer from time to time, do you think it's worth getting this game?
So I always have trouble giving people advice on like purchasing decisions,
Particularly
right?
on a game that's like
yeah,
not fully out.
yeah, and like I haven't gotten to play all of this. The multiplayer is nice, and I think it plays pretty responsively. I think blasters are easier to use and kind of play around with than like chunky guns from Battlefield 1. So if you found Battlefield 1 maybe something that
Battlefront one?
no, Battlefield.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, same people.
Yeah, okay.
So if you found Battlefield 1 something that was maybe structurally something you enjoyed, but maybe the guns were a little too chunky and hard to use, it's a little cleaner and crisper here,
Yeah.
so maybe that will help you out.
Sorry, I get confused by the other battle beginning
There's a
EA
lot.
thing that begins with 1 that had already iterated on.
Yes. Numbers no longer mean anything.
Numbers don't mean anything. Colons
this
are
is the second.
suggestions.
This is the second Battlefront 2.
This is the second Battlefront 2, and that was the second Battlefront 1, or Battlefield 1, technically.
Oh yeah. Well, the first Battlefield was Battlefield
Yeah.
1942,
Oh, that's true. Sorry.
and then it was Battlefield 2.
It was Battlefield. God, that kicks ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, these gun noises, like the blasters, are just, gosh dang.
You and I were...
Fuck me up. This is so, like, it's good.
This is the thing. It's like I can see the machinations that Disney is doing, like with all their transmedia properties, and I could give a shit because I love Star Wars. And
Yeah, Star
and I'm
Wars is good now.
Here's how good Star Wars was. George Lucas couldn't screw it up bad enough for me to not give a shit about it when somebody does something even halfway competent.
Yeah, and like, chat, I'm gonna go on the record and say this: Attack of the Clones is super garbo, but you know what? I can watch Phantom Menace, and I can certainly watch Revenge of the Sith. They got a big, like, both of those have good lightsaber fights and some
Yeah.
stuff in there I enjoy. The only crappy one is Attack of the Clones, and that's when they're like, I
There's a-
hate sand.
I hate sand so
It
much.
gets everywhere.
It just gets everywhere. The Attack of the Clones has enough. We have enough irony, I think, now with that. Ooh,
Ooh, droid panels. Oh, that's right, you can. Ready? If I
That's
could
cool.
shoot it, yeah. That
there's
way,
like
that way
enough.
folks won't
There's
get
enough
you.
like really bad stuff, and it's such a watchable movie. Like there's a lot of Jar Jar in that movie, and it's kind of funny now. Whereas at the time, it was like, this is not funny. Star Wars is serious.
Jar Jar's weird, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I'm saying he's good, but it's there's something kind of.
So, my good old boss.
But 2 is the worst, I would say. Yeah.
My good old boss Steven Totilo was playing some of this last night, and on Twitter he made a very salient point about the opening of this game, at least, and it's like, this is some really tight-ass corridor shooting.
Yeah. I was gonna say, James said, never thought I'd see things flipped where Imperials can actually shoot accurately and the Rebels miss.
Oh, you should see. I put a clip on my Twitter of me in the multiplayer as a straight up just generic stormtrooper running around with this flak shotgun and just fucking dudes up.
It's go ahead.
I don't know. It's funny because that would never happen.
It is funny though. This is just like what is it? I hate using like tired like TV tropes things, but it's the inverse ninja thing where it's like the strength of a ninja is relative to its
Yeah, one ninja
them.
is super strong, but if you have like a ton
20,
of ninjas,
they all just get,
you can
like-
just kind of like sneeze
like a
on them and they
lawnmower,
die.
yeah. So if you have one stormtrooper who's like cool, they're gonna just screw everybody's shit up.
Yeah. And I think they've made it very clear in the story to be like, oh, she's special forces.
Yeah, she's a cool trooper.
Although, to be fair, I would totally play, as much as I maybe in the current political climate and after playing Wolfenstein, which was just super good, as much as I'm not sure
So
I
good.
necessarily want to always play as the space Nazis, I think you can still have like maybe a cool stormtrooper story
We
or
also
something.
we also don't necessarily know how where her arc is as someone who hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing too. I haven't gotten far enough in the story to know like what's gonna go on. For a while, she's like super diehard imp, and just like, oh, this. You'll see, because we got another sequence coming up where we're gonna meet some of the squad mates and stuff.
Chris says my buddy Walt co-wrote the script for this, and so I'm looking forward to seeing the writing quote on the screen again. Cool.
Walt Disney?
Walt Disney,
My
yes,
friend Walt Disney?
who now owns Star Wars.
Yes. In his underground bunker where his head still lives,
He lives in the fictional. He lives in the BioShock that's under Epcot Center.
Yes.
No, that's cool.
Is
This
a
rules.
mouse not entitled to the sweat of his brow, the fruits of his labor?
No, says the man in Futureland.
It belongs to the
Whatever. We,
Buzz Lightyear. I don't know. We can
Buzz
make up
Lightyear,
something.
sure,
It
yeah.
belongs to the toys.
Oh yeah, we did kill a Twi'lek.
Oh, we did. Yeah. So actually, the rebels are way more diverse in this campaign than I've seen in a lot of other campaigns. But maybe that was a limitation of when these games were being made, like the older games.
When did this cool ship exist?
I don't know. This is Hask. He's a fucking dink. Pardon my language.
I like that you said fucking dink.
I'm in a mood today.
Looks like you're still second in command.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I'm patient.
This dude spends a ton of time styling his hair.
Agent Miko.
Meanwhile, Miko
Those jump
here,
calculations were perfect.
Thank you, ma'am.
pretty chill.
The landing wasn't too rough.
Yeah.
Could do worse. Remember the Job S incursion?
Still haunts
Yeah.
my dreams.
Contact the Admiral.
Yes, Commander. And the message?
The fleet's location is still safe. Today, the rebellion dies.
Does it though? Don't spoil it, guys. That's a fun little prologue, though. It gives you a nice sense of the character, or at least
I'm-
where she's at.
Pro that log.
Like this
Sometime later.
kind of hardcore soldier who can get a lot done. Look at that.
Cool.
Oh, I'm afraid the deflector shields will be quite operational when your friends arrive.
I'm gonna look at me.
Oh,
I'm the
no.
Emperor. This is a cool moment.
This is when the guy in the A-Wing flew through and killed the Admiral.
Yeah.
Admiral Piet.
Fiat,
Oh, he just said it. Good.
get me Inferno Squad.
Someone said they have a bad feeling about this.
Admiral Piet. Good dude who mostly rose through the ranks from being in movies where other dudes got choked to death by Darth Vader.
Sometimes that's how it works sometimes in a job
Yeah.
environment.
Apology accepted, Captain Nita.
We have eyes on a rebel recovery team, Admiral.
Just gonna quote everything. So I think we'll probably get through the Endor stuff.
Yeah, you know.
And then that might be the end of it. Although that leads to a ship battle. I want to show you guys so much, but I'm a busy, busy little beaver.
I would say, what do you want? Let's do some social media interaction, you guys. Hearts for Rebels. Surprised face for
Surprised face for
the Empire.
the Empire. Look
Yeah.
at this. Like these cutscenes,
Yeah, sure, yeah.
dude,
Cool,
like,
rad.
I look at these,
Dead ahead. Follow it.
like, look at this design. Like, shut up.
Yeah, dude.
What?
Yeah, this kicks ass.
Right, but I guess maybe that's
I have a real soft spot for the. Hell yeah.
a sign that it's like that AAA excess, right? Because budgets are just not gonna be sustainable.
I mean, big parts of capitalism, I would say, will not be sustainable, let alone AAA budgets, unless there's some weird,
So this is how. These are star cards. They're silly.
silly.
This is how it also works in multiplayer. You get cards, and they can either give you. In this case, this gives you an ability, but in other cases, they will give you stat boosts or things like that. And they have different rarities. So a blue card will grant you more health than a purple card, which you have to craft the best cards, which is
So-
something that EA did in response to criticisms. But there's still there's this weird ability system that I don't like. You can just have a Star Wars game, like it's fine.
Someone keeps giving us angry faces, and that was not one of the choices. You guys.
Somebody keeps on giving us angry faces.
They're giving us the angry face for, I assume, a choice that we gave. That's not the rebels were thumbs up.
Maybe they just
they're
hate
angry.
us.
Maybe they hate Star Wars. Maybe
they hate fun.
Maybe they're that Spock impersonator in that Conan piece where he just gives all the episode 1 guys the finger.
Oh, I'm not familiar
It's
with
an
that.
old video.
I remember Triumph talking to people on the line.
James says angry face leads to the dark side. It's true.
Yeah, it's true. So
And that
this
just
is,
leads to being Moby if we're being honest with ourselves.
So this is the shotgun. It owns.
Yeah.
Where are the other dudes?
They're
You
good
only
at
have it-
designing. They're
You
good
only
at
have it
designing
for
weapons.
a limited amount of time, but ready.
Cool.
It's a good space shotgun.
I just like that it's got that like choke sideways.
Yeah, it's this.
It's like a diagonal
this
choke. Yeah.
Boom.
Oh yeah, that kicks ass.
That's pretty wild. Like it's I don't know. I can enjoy this, but I also be informed and educate yourself about this game before you decide what you want to do with it, gang.
Frio says they like the graphics and lighting, and it looks great on PC.
Yeah, so
You were
I've
saying
been
that.
playing it on PC.
You got like 2 GTX 1080s though. Right?
I have two 1070s.
Oh, 1070s. That's better than one 1080.
It's pretty nice. It was one of the things I was finally like, you know what? I'm gonna get a good PC.
Yeah. It's worth the investment.
It's not bad.
Or it's fun. Oh no.
How am I not in the mission area? What?
Oh, you gotta eliminate. I think there's one person who survives over there.
Scan the area.
Let's find out. They're back there. So right now, this is during the battle with all the dudes
Someone-
up in space. Look at the
Kyle's-
Death Star.
Kyle says that gun was OP with the Trandoshans in Republic Commando.
In Republic Commando.
Yeah.
When they were fighting
Such
against
a
you.
good-
Republic Commando, a great
Such
game.
a good game. That game is so important, and I know like nerds who like that game, like myself, are aware of how important it is for like squad mechanics, but it really cannot be stressed enough.
It's
It
a
was the
really
first
good
game to
game.
do like really good squad.
Speaking of squad, nothing bad is going to happen to the Empire right now.
Those can't be all of them. Those rebel commanders must have already moved on.
We should too.
We're near platform 4.
Is there a shuttle there?
No, TIE fighters only.
Even better.
We should move carefully. We don't know how many rebels are out here.
No, we'll deal with them the same as the rest. Today we wipe out that scum once and for all.
Slow down, Hask.
Come on, buddy.
This is hysterical to me.
Ooh, can't see it. I'm pulling my collar.
Hask really spoke at the wrong time. Sucks for them.
Now to take a big sip of my coffee and look up at the sky.
This is fine.
Look alive, agents. We can grieve later. Right now, we need to move.
Oh yeah, spoilers. The second Death Star blows up.
I mean,
You only had 30 years to watch that movie.
spoilers, technically.
Those TIE fighters.
Yeah, it's not spoiler.
A bajillion Death Stars always blow up.
Agent Miko.
Guys,
Scout ahead.
King Kong may not be great throughout the whole entirety of the movie.
Yeah, 'twas beauty killed the beast.
Yeah.
Yes, Commander. Patsy.
But gosh, look at this.
Yeah, you know,
Kills me.
it's pretty great.
Kills me to know that there's so much craftsmanship in this game and there's so much other publisher bullshit. This is photogrammetry that they're using for some of these graphics,
It's great.
where they go out and they take all sorts of tiny little photos.
I mean, if it's just them going around John Muir National Forest and like taking photos, that seems like a great use of resources. That sounds like it's cool.
I laugh because the main reason I'm really acquainted with photogrammetry is when I asked Resident Evil 7 producer Masachika Kawada why everyone's teeth in the game looked so gosh dang perfect
In which game?
in Resident Evil 7.
Oh,
And he was like, oh, we used photogrammetry. And I think he meant that broadly, but I hope that meant that they were scanning people's teeth, too.
I would scan teeth.
Yeah, alright. Here are these
Resident Teethful.
rebels.
Oh yeah, cool.
I think you could probably just run and not fight them.
Yeah, you know. But where's the
Okay.
fun in that?
Yeah, man. I'm an evil stormtroopy person.
You're.
Oh my gosh, freaking peek your head out or something.
Come on, buddy.
Can't believe that I just turned into like the most gamer-ass gamer for a second. Or I was just like,
I think you might be a gamer, Heather.
ah, gosh, maybe.
I
I
love-
almost slipped into like super Boston accent there too. I was gonna be like, move your freaking head.
We're both from the greater tri-state
are.
area of New England or
It's-
Quadro State.
it's
I don't know.
something else.
There's a bunch of them.
It's a good time.
depending on who you're fighting.
These
on.
fucking rebels are screwing up everything.
Go to the frickin' Packy, get some fucking beers so we can kill these friggin' rebels.
Listen, if we're gonna be here looking out and scouting out for all these rebels, I want you to go to the corner, grab something from the donkeys.
Get from donkeys. Oh. That brought back sense memories.
Yo, you got new coladas? Oh, I just...
Shh. Nobody saw that.
Well...
Also, I like that it's just a reaction. You see a stormtrooper in a video game, you're like, oh, I have to kill that.
It was pretty...
30 years of... 30, or however many, at least for me.
How did I die? Were we getting so caught up talking about...
Killing stormtroopers?
Killing stormtroopers that we got distracted?
It's very
We
possible.
might have. Oh,
Do
no.
they make you do all that crap again?
No, but you get different weapons if you want, and then you can
Cool.
jump back into the game.
That's rad.
What? Maybe I did get too distracted by accidentally shooting one of my bros. Or the game finally was like, hey, don't shoot your bros. You know what? We're going to see if we can run past this patrol.
I think you probably can.
Probably
Because there's just a
can.
bunch of stormtroopers
Look
out
at this.
there. You
We're
can say hi to them.
figuring out speedrun strategies.
Um,
Scouting agent. We'll see what we can do.
And then don't shoot the... He's like, let me help you. Oh, he's not here again, does he? Or maybe he just dies.
this game made you feel guilty for shooting that person all this time.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't my fault.
That was kind of funny.
Stand your ground and return fire. Inferno squad. The Empire is evacuating Endor. Push back these rebels.
Thomas said, I don't know if they get it point this out in the game, but Eden was actually also at the first Death Star when it blew up. They talk about it in the book.
In the Inferno Squad book that I haven't
Probably.
read, unfortunately. I did. The last kind of mainline Star Wars book that I read might have been the first Battlefront book, which was written by Alexander Freed, and he's a super good author.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I definitely haven't read anything about Inferno Squad. Once they got into the new canon, guys, I'm sorry.
It's not the same.
It's a time investment that I love Star Wars, but I'll stick with like movies and maybe some games and other tie-in stuff.
Yeah. I don't have time to... If I'm putting off reading, like, smart books, no offense,
No, that's fine.
I prioritize, like, books should make you feel painful, right? That's how that works.
Can I die again? I don't want to die.
Please don't die. What is pressing X? Oh, is that active reload?
Yeah. If you reload it sometimes at the right time, it will also let you get some energy. Like, it'll boost the power of your gun for a bit.
Time to keep moving.
I'm being lax with my highlight reel voice. Jasper says...
Jasper.
Hello, Jasper.
What's up, Jasper?
Jasper says, good graphics don't change a shallow game experience.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean-
it's still cool to look at.
Shallow's in the eye of the beholder. I'm very partial to first-person shooters, even though I'm not currently shooting in first person.
Yeah.
And I think I'm also just really someone who likes Star Wars a ton.
Thomas Berry says, Murakami should write a Star Wars book. What would that even be like?
Oh, geesh.
Just like a lone cat? I don't know. I haven't read much Murakami.
Oh, I got the officer. Or did I not? I thought I did. That's what they tell you to do. I have to sneeze.
Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Nope, I'm fine.
You good?
Yeah,
You can sneeze.
That was terrifying.
All right, turning your mic back on. Sorry about that.
The scariest thing that you can do during a stream when you're right in front of a microphone is sneeze. But that's
Yeah.
why Chris is here to help me with that.
Yeah, I gotta.
Is that why
I got
you're
knobs
here?
and everything.
For sneeze? You're also
Mainly
here,
just
you're
for
also here because I
sneezes.
like your company.
I'm also a very pleasant, nice person
Who was shooting at me?
who loves gaming.
This jokester over here is shooting at me.
Semper Games, everyone.
Video games forever. Kotaku.com.
We can't steal that. That's Tim's.
That is Tim's thing. How am I not hitting the officer when I shot a gosh dang rocket at him? Oh, I got him good.
cool.
Oh, that's a grenade. Whoa, boy.
Oh, you.
Ooh. I do say.
Man, now I want like a Thor Ragnarok for Star Wars.
Thor Ragnarok for Star Wars.
Yeah, just like, but I don't know, like a dumbass bounty hunter.
Oh, that could be a weird, like, bounty hunter movie.
I feel like an IG-88 movie could be funny.
IG-88 movies. I think they would have to change his personality from, like,
Murder?
evil robot to, like, goof droid. Or, I mean, I joked yesterday, but this game has Bosk in the multiplayer. He's a giant lizard dude who
Yes.
kicks butt and is actually pretty fun to play as. There's all sorts of fun bounty hunters you could use. Everybody
Yeah.
likes Boba Fett, but nobody likes Forlom or Dengar, and maybe they should get some love. Also, Boba Fett. What about
Give us
Jodo Koss?
Give us some hearts for Dengar.
Dengar. He's
Come on.
trying his best. Dengar's trying really hard.
Leave Dengar alone.
He has a gun.
Thomas
and
Berry says Dengar movie.
Dengar movie.
And I agree. People have spoken. That's how things get
I
greenlit.
feel like Dengar would have a very Peter Quill quality to him if you wanted.
I'm actually bummed out that what's his name? What's their names? The guys who did the Lego movie are no longer doing the Han Solo movie. That was such a bummer.
Do I have anything? What do I got here? A shield.
That's cool.
Gets rid of my scanner droid, but I'm okay with that.
Cool.
I seem to I remember
Someone said Bosk on a Segway.
Bosk on a Segway. Somebody making a an MC Chris reference right there.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about him.
It is. People always forget about MC Chris until you're talking about MC Chris.
Yep. And then it's just there again.
Boba the Fett.
Mm-hmm.
He drives a Corvette.
Yep.
He bounty hunts for Jabba the Hutt. Or something. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I'm butchering it too, and somebody's probably going to correct me. We are changing to a sniper rifle because...
It's cool.
And also, that's how I kind of like to play in multiplayer. It's nice because the sniper rifles, like, in Star Wars, they do what you want to, and there's not, like... I do appreciate in Battlefield that you have to take into account, like, bullet drop and things, but you know what? Sometimes you just want to shoot a pretty punchy and awesome laser gun. Oh no, that's Hold on.
Someone said angry at microtransactions. I think people are giving us some angries because they're mad at the microtransactions.
Yeah, you know what though? That's 100% justified. And we talked about it earlier in the stream. So I'm being complimentary towards maybe the shooting and stuff here because I'm having fun with it, but also like I wrote on our site, if you look down in the Facebook feed, you'll find something about how the loot boxes do affect the multiplayer gameplay and how I am not a fan of that. And I think that loot boxes in general are these really predatory and gross things that should not be in games.
I feel ways about them. I feel real bad about them because I do think that they chemically use the same kind of impulse as gambling.
It's a gambling thing. And
it really is.
So if that's why people are doing angry faces, like angry face away, like I am right there with you. And so the way that I've tried to approach this game is to maybe focus on some of the art, and then when the game is out, maybe what the community is doing. But I do agree, and I want to make this very clear, if you have problems with that, and if you have hang-ups about that, that's totally fine. And the thing that we can do is inform other people about kind of how these things work, and kind of how these things are in this game, and then people can hopefully make informed, even though I'm not really a consumer advocacy person, people can still make informed like purchasing decisions or things. Like if this is something that you don't want to put up with, like the good news is you don't have to.
Yeah, a lot of it depends on what your attitude towards games are, because there are a lot of people who are very much like the gamers have spoken and X, Y. It's like, well, no, yes and no. It's complicated. Like art is complicated, and how it relates to money is complicated, and you can have multiple feelings about multiple parts of a work of art.
Well, I mean, we don't need to equivocate too much for like producers or publishers right now. So like, it's okay for us to say no, loot boxes are fucking horseshit.
They are, but still,
like, we just be on record on that.
But you can enjoy a thing and be like, man, this one part of this thing sucks, and I really don't like it.
I think so. I do tell people when approaching games, like, and even games that have like quote-unquote problematic content. So I like I keep on saying Resident Evil lately. I like Metal Gear Solid 5 a ton. I think it's super smart, but Quiet's in that game, and for as much as people are like, oh no, like there's a reason for her to be like half naked, it's like, nah, dude, Quiet doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
And I can
that's classic Kojima horniness.
I can still dislike Quiet's like character design while also admitting that Resident Evil again. That Metal Gear Solid 5 is a game that I really, really enjoy. In fact, before I even was writing for Kotaku, that was a piece that I wrote for Giant Bomb, talking about guilty pleasures. There are plenty of things I think are guilty pleasures. Yeah. And you can still enjoy those. I think that gets a little bit more complicated with loot boxes. Yeah. Which I really have a lot of fundamental issues with. And like I said, if you are angry, and this is a business practice that you want to see less of, one of the things you can do is kind of vote with your wallet or whatever. But that's a decision you have to make kind of on your own. I unfortunately like I can tell you how the game plays, I can tell you about those systems, but I can't tell you what to do, if that makes sense.
Me and my roommate were talking about, because she was going through like Metal Gear games and a bunch of Kojima's earlier games.
Right.
And there's something, Kojima's always horny in a really funny way, where it's like, I mean, it depends on your own sense of humor, but he's like funny, he's like horny in the way a 12-year-old is, and like, it's bizarre, because it's not that it's like not like aggressively horny sometimes, it's just, it's like so childish that it almost becomes funny.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, you have to approach things from a certain perspective, and like Kojima's work can kind of speak for itself.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. But it's weird. He's just it becomes another one of these things where it just becomes baffling sometimes.
It's one of those things where you don't assume ill intent, at least in artistic design. But you can definitely call out maybe something that feels misguided.
Sure, of course. And I'm not suggesting that wasn't the case.
Oh, that's right. I have a shield.
Yeah, hell yeah. Anyway, you can have a lot of opinions about a thing. It doesn't have to be a sliding scale.
Where are the rest of these? Oh, God, there's one right there.
Someone said I should be ashamed of my words and deeds.
Your words and deeds?
Hell
You should
yeah.
be ashamed of them?
Yeah.
Were you ashamed of them when you found out that Quiet breathed through her skin and that's why she's super
That is
super naked?
so weird. That, like I know that's the plot justification, but just texturally, that's a weird thought.
It's a game world where a dude can control bees and shoot them like bullets.
Fair.
So,
Yeah.
whatever,
yeah,
it makes
yeah.
sense. So we are going to get off Endor in time. We'll show you very quickly that it goes pretty fast into space combat, but we're unfortunately... Well, actually, maybe we have a little bit of time to show off space combat, but...
Jasper
I
says...
do have a important business meeting.
Jasper says, Overwatch is the only game that gets a pass on loot boxes. I don't
Does
know
it?
how I feel about that
I
at
don't.
all.
So I don't agree with that at all. I think that Overwatch loot boxes are probably incredibly meticulously designed to make sure that people are purchasing them,
Yeah.
and that people are being milked for their money, right? At least that's probably the upper level view from publishers. And I think that in a game with a bunch of bright, colorful characters that people like, and I do like Overwatch a ton. I have a Tracer Nendo at my desk. It's one of my favorite things that I own. Those loot boxes still, they know exactly what they're doing.
I also just don't like, in a game that is so child-friendly,
Oh,
not to...
no, Steven's controls are inverted for flying, too.
No.
Oh, so my boss, Steven Totillo,
Infamous inverter.
plays games inverted. And you know what? I can do that maybe for flying, but I had to change it for when we were doing the ground game stuff.
Yeah, flying I can kind of see it, because you're like, okay, this
Yeah, well,
makes
that feels
sense.
like using
Yeah.
a joystick or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But, it's an adjustment after so much time of not doing
inverting.
that. Oh, gosh, I'm going to die. It's all going to be Steven's fault.
Thumbs up if you hate inverting. Wow if you like inverting.
Oh, you can see I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're not going to pause to uninvert, because that's the coward's way
No,
out.
we only have a limited amount of time for me to show you off some cool space combat stuff. Although, look how quickly we got to space. That's kind of badass.
I really like this debris field.
The fact that games can do that now boggles my mind. Okay. Yeah, oh gosh, I'm having trouble with this inverted stuff.
Sebastian
oh,
says-
I hit some sort of ability.
Sebastian says, come on, Steven.
Oh no.
Where is
Oh
the...
no.
There we go.
Oh, you've murdered us. You've gotten us all killed.
Oh.
He really did. Okay, I'm gonna change it.
You're going to do it?
Oh.
Wow. This is a war. Inverted's the only way to go.
You have no clue how much that just messed with me.
Kevin says I invert everything.
Whoa, Kevin, what is going on with you? You invert everything? Oh my gosh. Okay, perfect. This is already 100 times better.
Just like a panning. It's
We'll
just like
get-
a release valve.
We'll get
on
through
the
this
brain.
debris field very quickly, and then we will. We'll shoot a couple of X-Wings, and then I'll be like, hey, there you go. There's some space combat.
Yeah.
And then we will head out.
Yeah.
Gosh, we've talked about all sorts of stuff. I hope people are at least
Someone said try to find Vader's hand.
oh, well, no, because if you've read The Glove of Darth Vader, the old young adult novel from the old canon, you would know that shit got pulled through a wormhole and ended up on Bespin or something. Oh, you think I'm not going to pull up the best Star Wars fiction?
That's such a stupid. That's
With-
up there with Luke.
with Triclops and all that shit. Triclops, the three-eyed, illegitimate kid of Palpatine. Well, there's Triculus and Triclops. One of them is actually the illegitimate son, and then one of them's like this moth who's pretending.
That rules, and the Star Wars extended universe is so stupid. And I mourn its loss every day.
Those were dubiously canon because those were also like the children's books.
Yeah.
Or the young adult things. Whereas, like, the young adult stuff from the Jedi Academy series was definitely carried over. I don't know how much people really pointed to those,
Oh yeah, someone
like
wanted
the
to-
Glove of Darth Vader stuff and was like, this is 100% legitimate.
It also just sounds like you should be using like the voice that those nerds correct Xena in that one Star Simpsons episode. Now, in the extended canon, we clearly see that Vader's glove is pulled through a wormhole.
But look, if somebody's going to tell me to look for something in the debris field, I'm going to have to tell you, unfortunately, that's not there. It's
That's
gone.
like it's like a needle
Well,
in
actually,
a haystack.
maybe it's there in the new canon. I don't know. So this is space combat. It's very, very cool. We actually have to go.
We have to leave.
So I'm gonna
Much though we
return to
love-
the mission area and chase these guys down. But
Yeah.
otherwise, this was a bit of the single player campaign. I like it, but I do have a lot of reservations about this game.
Yeah.
I'll hopefully have a review for you sometime by the end of next week. It depends on how much playtime I can get in beforehand. We will see how that goes. But otherwise, please have a wonderful day.
And as Prince Yogurt says,
May the
live long and prosper.
may the live long prosper.
All right. Later, everyone.